Hello everyone! Welcome on in! We are officially almost at the end of our Ace Attorney adventures. This is our technical last game is the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. We might play Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. I'm not sure yet. I have to see if I could get it to work for stream, because that game has not been ported. So, but I never sent out my. There we go. If we don't play, then this is technically the last game. And I don't know how to feel. I'm so sad because we've been playing Ace Attorney for so long. Like, so long. 2 years, I think. Oh my gosh. Over 2 years. Now I'm looking. I'm so bad with time. Two years, yep. Started April 2024. And now we're here. Great Ace Attorney Resolve 2, Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, which I don't know anything about, but I've heard that it's really good. Like, people love this game, so I'm very excited to start a new game. Let's get into it. Probably gonna start with a cutscene. Pretty. Susanoo!
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital.
So she's still in Japan.
You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer.
Aww.
I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, she's at a grave.
Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I find myself faced with another awful crime. Oh. Her? Again?
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Oh! What? Wait! Oh! She
So
died?
please, I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Oh, Kazuma. Oh, she's at Kazuma's grave. Oh, that is gorgeous. The adventure of the blossoming attorney. Wait, do we get to play as Susanoo? Oh, that's amazing. 13th August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. So we're back in Japan. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Oh, hello, Mr. Mikotoba. Oh, good you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late.
Oh, yes, good morning, sir.
I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet. And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either.
Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous, I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born. Oh, so.
Goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Yeah, that's your dad, Susanna.
This is my dad, Eugene Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial May University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father.
Aww. Excuse me. I don't know who this is. We haven't met them yet.
Oh, excuse me. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing.
Interesting that, oh, they're friends. I'll read that in a sec. It's interesting that the killer from the first trial of the first game is the victim in this case, I think. I wonder what that is and how it's all connected, because it seems like we're like everything's like really, really connected in this game, these games.
Rai Membami. Membami. Ray?
I don't know if I'm how to say that. Hold on. I feel bad if I pronounce it wrong. Hi! I do remember you, I'm pretty sure. Apologies. One moment. Okay, sorry about that. Membami. Membami? I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce.
Born the same year as I and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory, helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh, my, well, it's just that you look so gallant and dashing.
Oh? Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I see you. Okay, girl.
And when I fall under your intense gaze, Well, it makes me feel rather bashful. Okay, Goodness, I don't think she knows. Huh? She hasn't realized who I am. Huh. It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Hmm? Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can't see through your disguise, I think we can relax. Oh, she's in disguise! Still. That makes sense. Actually, that makes sense. But still. Still. I see you, game. Disguise? Yes. I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. Okay, she's... So, I'm assuming she's dressed up as a man because we are in 1800s Japan. That makes sense. I was wondering how she was the lawyer for this. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. I should probably give her a little voice then. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Well, no, she's talking to her dad. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? Yeah, we were flirting. I'm so sorry I didn't say anything sooner, Ray. What are you doing? What's going on? What? That's understandable. That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student. Okay, I was right. I figured. Oh, interesting. Oops. Oh, we don't have a court record yet. I was trying to look at people. But we don't have it yet because this is technically the tutorial case. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see... It was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. Okay, I was right. My defense? Oh, what's an Ace Attorney game if we don't defend our best friend in court? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Oh, my heart! Oh, ooh, ouch! Oh, ow! That's sad. Oh, no. Oh. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Really? Wasn't she... I'm trying to remember the trial case from the first game. Because I know Susato showed up in that one, but I guess she really wasn't in there long. I think she was just dropping stuff off quick. Huh. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. Oh. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you go to such lengths for me? Oh, these two are so cute. We've barely met this girl and I love her. Of course, you're my greatest friend. Oh, cuties. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Right. It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so... you're so gallant and dashing. Okay. Okay. What is this game? What is this game? Was these games? If they kill her off like they killed Kazuma, I'm gonna be pissed. Rai? Please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh my god, they're so cute. I love them. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just you really do look so dashing, girl. Just kiss already. Who said that? Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. Oh, I'm sure that's the reason. I am pleased. I think it certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Right. You're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Aw. Susato. You do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder. Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. It means so much to me, Susato. Aww. Defendant, counsel, court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Rai. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh my god. Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. To be fair, she kind of carried us through the last game. There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Rai doesn't know how it came to this? Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. That's so sad. Oh. I didn't want to burden her with that. And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was? It was because it's the British lady, isn't it? What was her name? Jezile Brett? I'm assuming it's her. Because it looked like her in the cutscene. We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. I'm Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. Okay. 13th August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. Oh, there's Susato! I was excited to see her outfit. To see how dashing she was.
This court is now in session to hear the trial of Raimen Bami.
The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Look how cute! She looks so good. Oh, I love her outfit.
Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency. We are ready.
Ready!
Yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is
Oh yeah, what's her name? Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Is that correct? That's cute.
Oh, her nameplate changed. Sorry?
Oh, yes. I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Well, counsel?
Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I am Ryutaro, he who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan.
It seems Ryutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen.
Naruhodo? A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be...
You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is,
his cousin!
Of course. That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers.
Damn. Get 'em. Any of them. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has had to call in a country boy. How dare you? No, shh on the name, Susato is every bit as gallant and dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you
Right.
I won't have you making fun of her.
Her?
Don't out me in the courtroom. Right. Oh,
Please be careful, Ray.
What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. Oh, I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through.
She's literally making the same expressions he does. That's so funny.
Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. or want to flit. My controller already shut off. No, it didn't. Why was it not working?
The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests.
Because the British person died. Again.
In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire. As with all of these, both of these games, tutorial cases.
And just like the trial 9 months ago. Okay, there's our time frame.
So it's still the same. I don't remember what she said in the cutscene, how long it had been. But I remember the last game ended in April, and it's August now. So she's been here. So she's been gone since 4 months. And it's been 9 months since Ryunosuke did his first trial. Wow.
And yet, for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock. Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense. To determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom.
Why do we always need to do this?
9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now.
Yeah. I can't believe what he was.
The same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. You've played the previous games, haven't you, Susato? So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
Right. It's time to prove myself. Oh, she did the Ryunosuke thing.
Oh, she's doing all his mannerism. That's so cute.
Yes, Your Excellency. But please do make them simple.
Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim.
Teach me how to open the court record, please. Whew, that is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried.
Oh no, I forgot. Classic Ace Attorney moment. Ah! What's the matter? Just like every tutorial case, I seem to have forgotten the name of the victim. If only I was told a button on how to open the court record so I could check it. What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, minds are wont to blank.
It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances.
Oh dear, this is a dismal failure.
Don't fret. You need only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem.
Of course. The court record.
Yes,
The answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court record.
that's right. Just use R1 to open the court record. Then you need to flip to the people section with R1. And don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely.
Alright. Check the court record with R1. That's where the information I need will be. Okay, now we can check. Post-mortem death. Time of death just after 2 p.m. Death is believed to be due to trauma to the victim's lung from a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified. Oops. Name Giselle Brett, female, British. Time of death 11th August at around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Cause of death. Single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung, and resulting in fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Notes: extremiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim in both eyes. Oh, I wonder how that's going to come into play. Alright. Eugene Mikotoba, 43. A medical school professor at the Imperial Yomei University. He's an authority in forensic medicine in charge of the university's laboratory. He also happens to be my father. Ryan Membami, 16. My best friend who works as an assistant to my father in his laboratory at the Imperial Yomei University. She's the defendant in this case. Josiah Brett, 25. The victim of this case, who was a former British exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of the murder of visiting professor Dr. John Wilson. Taketsuchi Auchi, 52. The lead prosecutor of this case, who appears to be struggling to accept the changes afoot as a result of these turbulent new times in Japan in the Meiji era. I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case?
Josiah Brett.
Yes!
Yes! Oh, she's so polite. I love how her animations are Ryunosuke's animations. I like to imagine she's copying his mannerisms. The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Josiah Brett. Josiah Brett?
A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure.
I wonder if it was another British person who killed her again. Crazy.
Correct. And being a member of our empire's judiciary, you will be well aware of the significance of that name.
Yes, she was from the last game.
So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago.
The DL6.
But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, if you somehow skipped the first game and went straight to this one, everything you need is included in the court record.
Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything.
I was gonna say, they can't make her forget that.
Josiah Brett. Behind the woman's student persona was the face of a killer.
Yes!
Yes.
Hey, her hand slams are better than Ryunosuke's. Ryunosuke has like pathetic a little like plap. She's actually got some strength to it.
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yomei University was killed. And the culprit was Josiah Brett.
Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate. Oh. I believe. Is this the judge speaking? I thought it was Professor Mikotoba speaking. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotoba. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yomei University was arrested on suspicion of murder.
Ryunosuke.
A second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And now we got a Naruhodo here.
quote-unquote. Ah, Kazuma! With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Jazile Brett. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Oh yeah, we never got like a proper conclusion on that. There's a lot of loose ends from the first game that I hope get tied up in this one. I assume they will if people love it so much.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she'd be removed to Shanghai, China instead.
Why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week.
Oh, so they've had her in custody for like 9 months, just waiting.
All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the English woman was killed.
Only the day before? That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant.
Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle.
Now a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouchi.
As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal. There were 2 persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Rai Mbami. Accordingly, there could be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady.
Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say.
That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words that raise an awful lot of questions.
Yeah.
As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel and what he said about the bathing spot, being alone together, powerful motive.
Yeah, let's go with motive.
You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement. Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
I beg your pardon?
No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Mbami-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yomei University, I believe? Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikatoba in his laboratory at the moment.
I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility.
Fascinating to hear. Now, another question. And prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
Was it Wilson?
Oh, well, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago?
The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Then tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred, girl. Oh no, Rai. Be careful what you're saying. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency.
Well, it was clearly a trap all along.
How wicked of him to use Rai's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that. I must find out more details. It's something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really gotta pick up the prosecution counsel and what he said about... Okay. The bathing spot.
If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie.
What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student?
I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot?
My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins.
No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder.
Okay, I was wondering if they were gonna bring this up. Why was she at a bathing spot if she was, like, under arrest?
Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea?
I'm glad he's also lost for words on this. I want to hear the explanation.
For old time's sake, I believe.
Sorry?
Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply.
But on what grounds will we agree to such a request?
Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal.
Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong.
But it did. But it did go wrong.
But in fact, a murder took place.
So clearly something happened.
Don't look at me. It was the young student girl who did it, not I.
No one has proved that yet.
I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
At this stage, I need to gather more information, I think. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the okay.
Mbami-san.
Yes? What is this? Naruhodo-san? I'm really starting to wish we'd made my alias Ryotaro Suzato.
That would, yeah.
Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her.
Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present.
A detective who was guarding Miss Brett, for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all.
But let us be clear, at the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. I bet there was someone else there. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. It's really... She's art... Never mind. She's... No! Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ryan would have encountered each other on a number of occasions.
Seeing the murder of the mentor for whom she had such great respect enjoying such undeserved liberty.
Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Rai for her feelings of anger and resentment. Yeah, that's fair.
Poor Rai.
So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident. Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. As you can clearly see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone could have hidden. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. Photographic print of the scene taken by the police just after the incident occurred. The stab wound in the victim's back is clearly visible. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused appalling's actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence. Of course.
Witnesses? But who?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Imagine. Imagine. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. I'm wondering if it's going to be the detective that did it. Very well, Counsel. Bring forth your witnesses. I, Taketsuchi Aochi, have been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial, 9 months ago here in this very courthouse. When that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. Ryanosuke Naruhodo. Yes? This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. Oh, Kazuma! You've become conceited with age, Counsel. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. Aww. I love Kazuma. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that.
Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut when the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died. The start of your own Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council? Silence. Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the ouchy growth. Oh, wow. You see the seed of hope sprouting forth the barren expanse of my crowd. Your Honor, objection, relevance. I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly? I said silence. Today I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand.
It looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to Rai's life.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We know both of those people. Got it.
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Yeah. Hosanaga, and then... what is going on with Hosanaga? And the other guy's here. The, defendant from the last game. I can't remember his name. The one who yells a lot. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosanaga. Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. Sosuke. Well, and I am, well, the next big thing in books. A renowned author throughout the capital. In fact, yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat, a sensational success by Sosuke Natsume.
Oh my goodness, I know both of these people.
A struggling student from the provinces, please. You needn't be in awe of me. Oh, they won't, that's right, they're not gonna recognize her. Need it? It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence, but all of you, please relax. Call me Sosuke, even. Yes.
You think he'd react,
the name, Naruhodo, though. Because obviously he's gonna remember Ryunosuke. Yes.
What on earth is Sosuke-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. The author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun.
Yes, of course, I know. I presume Sosuke-san won't have forgotten about me.
I could certainly never forget him.
Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosanaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe.
Do I have something on my face? Nope.
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
Just keep throwing people that are gonna recognize her in this case. Oh, I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Sosuke-san? So I'm gonna doubt that either of these two did it, given that we've already defended this guy. And he was clearly innocent in that case. And Hosonaga, I don't see it being Hosonaga. So it's gonna be probably a new witness we see later, like in the tutorial trial of the last game. Oh, well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial May University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. Yume University? After that lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact. With Professor Mikotoba? Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about two former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much.
He practically threw that paper at me.
The Sosuke Natsume article has been entered into the court record. A newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Sosuke-san. The debate became quite spirited. Can we read the article? No. There's this kitty. Wait, there's a kitty. That's right, he brought kitten. I was gonna say, I was like, wait, I thought Wagahaya was still in Great Britain. But he said in the epilogue that she had kittens. I'm sure there's something with this photo that's gonna become relevant. And the crime scene photo. There's a lot of footprints. She's clutching something in her hand. That's probably important. It looks like a pen. Or we're gonna get a freaking like written message or something again. Her luggage. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see our country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course. That's wild. I thought she was in custody this whole time. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. And thereby the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. What is with this guy? He's always bleeding. Oh my, Inspector, you do have something on your face now. Oh, how unsightly. I do apologize.
Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father?
No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that as my assistant, I was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But if I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Can we get that? What's going on with that journalist? Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times.
It was a single stab wound. It was a single stab wound.
Single, deep stab wound. Objection, Your Honor. Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime.
What?
Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Yes, in her hand. I saw it in the picture. Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength— don't say she wrote out a name. Do not. Because every single time the victim writes out a name, it's always wrong. Every single time. It's always written by the murderer. Every time. The victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. Unless it was just her fountain pen, in which case... whatever. Still, it was definitely placed there or something. What?
Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me. Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right. The fountain pen. If you'll kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. What, does it have Rye's name on it? Oh! The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. I can't wait to meet our next witness with the initials RM. RM, yep. Ray Mambambi. The initials of the defendant. Oh, no. I love that her animations are just Randoscus. It's probably because it was cheaper to just reuse his animations. But it's still so funny that she literally just copies his actions. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. The pen that the victim was found grasping in her hand. It carries the initials RM. Okay, and when are we getting our next... Can we get our next witness in that has the initials RM? That's the real murderer. Thank you.
There was nothing identifying me to the baby. I have nothing to do with this case. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, tale as old as time. So, I'm just glad it wasn't writing again. For now. For now. So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. I'm trying to think which games didn't have the victim wrote the name case. The first game had the Maya on the receipt. Second game had the name in the sand, Maggie Bird in the sand. Third game had Maya written on the grave, tomb, lantern thing. Apollo Justice? I don't remember if that one had a writing case. Don't think so. I can't remember for Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice either. But there probably was. And then Great Ace Attorney had... It didn't have a name. It had, Kazuma wrote in, Russian. He wrote wardrobe. Apparently. And there's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. A perfect weather to ascribe a guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor ouchie of 9 months ago had none of this man's voice. He's not that. No. A counsel for the defense. You may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san. Naruhodo. Aww. Aww. That means... Oh! Yes, me! Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? There could be. He could be here. Who knows? He might be the next witness. Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Cousin Ryotaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright. I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. I love the unique ways they come up with for doing a trial tutorial case. Like obviously first game. Oh, we're going back to the games again. I'm sorry. I just love this series. Like, first game, Phoenix was new. Second game, he had amnesia. Third game, it was Mia's first case. Then Apollo Justice, it was his first case. Dual Destinies, it was Athena's first case. Spirit of Justice, it was Phoenix, but he was out of... I can't remember if he was like out of touch, or because he was also in a new country. It was like, I think it was like a mixture of that. And then Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, obviously, Ryunosuke, never done it before, but in order to have a tutorial case for this game, they bring in Susato, which I think is really cool, actually. So let's see what I can do. The witness scene. Okay, yes. The autopsy said there was a single stab wound. Why is it going so slow? No. Why is it going so slow? No. No, it went backwards. Yeah, get to the last statement. It proved to me that she stabbed the victim multiple times. No, it's no. Objection. Careful with objection. Cute. But that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time that Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, counsel?
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me.
Oh, what? Where? When? How?
Not you, Soseki-san. The query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga.
At me?
In your statement just now, oops, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand like a murderous demon.
And yet, that cannot be.
What? Get to the point, please, counsel.
In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only.
Ugh.
In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed.
Hell yes, Susato.
And Soseki-san,
Me?
you claim to have seen Membame-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes, I did. Wildly.
But both of you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding.
Yes, and... Oops.
It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
True. Then what exactly is your contention, counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moments that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't be. Excellent work, Susato. You exploded at them with that objection and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Objection!
Haha. Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousins. They just seemed much like this in the trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Oh, Mikatoba, you're amazing.
Slander. My head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing of multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade, ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance.
I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, That is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back to where we started. Sorry? Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good. Why did Bride pull out the knife? Yes. Going for the jugular.
What does Father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
The truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could stab her again, hide the knife. I'm gonna guess it's our answer is save her life, because everything else is, you know, bad for our case. Save her life. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, and giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research assistant, Mbami-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. She's not very smart though, but pulling out the knife. You're supposed to leave that in. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. That is not how it works. You're not supposed to do that. Even Mikotoma's like,
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean. Slipshod? Yeah, Susanna, what are you thinking, girl?
An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel, hopeful, has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems.
But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense. Yeah. Yeah, you're not, Susano, you're not supposed to remove the the knife. Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding, yeah. Yeah. And that's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Is what you said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily?
Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh, I see.
This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such a basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it.
Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true, what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics, or I would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Rai have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Rai never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It almost seems impossible to believe, but could my friend actually have...
Girl, don't doubt. Doubting's bad. Susato.
Yes?
Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my education immediately afterwards. Okay.
Okay, so we still have the save slots from the first game. There. Interesting. I understand.
Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard.
Okay, I have no idea. I don't think we have anything to present, so we might just press. Thinking could cause heavy bleeding. Sure. It's basic knowledge that any medical research assist. Yeah, sure. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim.
Hold it!
The defendant had surely encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. That sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it?
Susato becomes a man for 10 minutes and she's already sexist. Susato, no. Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. It's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah, you tell her, Osanaga. Let's go! Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Let's go! Hosanaga the goat. It's so funny. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much. Susanoo. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? Should cover the medical side of the argument. That was amazing. I don't care if I didn't lead to anything. That dialogue was great. I did have a motive. Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Mabami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. It's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
Objection!
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law.
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. So do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Yes. Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Mabami-san. Yeah.
Hold it!
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Mabami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant, despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mabami-san's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in his testimony anywhere. If I knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Susanoo, it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it? But what do I present? This is like one of the few times I'm actually lost.
Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
Okay, so she's lost too. I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You need to take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too. I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom.
I examined the evidence. That didn't help.
So if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record? It's an idea, certainly. What should I do?
Okay, I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
None of this... These death would have occurred within minutes. Extremiosis, people construction, that doesn't help with anything he said. Crime scene photo. Sure. Sure. Oops. Oh. I need the pen. Can't even examine the pen. Sure. Tell me what. What do I do?
Yes, Father. Spartan guidance is what I need.
I think that might be overdoing it slightly, but... Very well. So open the court record first of all with R1. Now let's take a look at the fountain pen, which was submitted as evidence most recently. I couldn't examine it before. Simply press it's circled now to examine it further. That's all there is to it.
Yes, the initials RM. Here they are, clearly engraved on the barrel.
By using the right stick, you can look at a piece of evidence from all angles. It did not let me examine this pen before. You should have a good look at everything to make sure you haven't missed any clues.
Yes, I will. I just need to rotate the pen with right stick and watch closely for anything out of the ordinary then. There's some sort of... Oh, look at Susano's art! Emblem here, look. But it isn't a Yuma University one.
So it's not hers. It's not her bed. It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Rai, but that doesn't help us right now.
What? Now I can examine this?
I was just checking for funsies. What's on the back?
This is the newspaper from Sosuke-san. There must be an important article on the back pages. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yumei Medical Research Laboratory. From Yumei's Medical Research. Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen?
It's this morning's paper that Sosuke-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard of any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned his information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning the story paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. Sorry. Oh my god, is it gonna be that reporter that's behind Sosuke-san that's the real killer? Is that why he has an actual, like, spray? I'd put Rai in charge of the project.
Right. She was managing it?
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. Oh no. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully. Okay. Can I read it? Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yumei Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yumei by Sosuke Natsume on 11th August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Even the smallest amount entering the body either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade would prove fatal in minutes. Okay, that's important. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils. Okay, so she was stabbed with a poison blade. Prior to death, such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. So... she was taking it out because of the poison? No good reason why the defendant would try to pull the knife from the victim. I'm gonna guess it's this.
Objection!
Okay. No, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What? The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yumei
Objection!
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case.
But... Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defense speak.
But a newspaper article, the court cannot rely on this kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry.
Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentions your affirmed assertion.
Your Excellency.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause.
The reason why the defendant pulled a knife from the victim's body, as I explained in the article where it says, deadly in tiny quantities. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting?
If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Mbami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body.
What?
Objection!
This is complete and utter nonsense.
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny that possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Objection!
Oh, please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claimed she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly. Oh, well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, Yoko?
Why did I suspect the stolen poison was involved? The pupils, I bet. If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What?
You can't possibly.
From your expression, counsel, it appears those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, counsel, you'll present a proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article?
In the post-mortem report. It was in that, right? Yep.
Oops.
Take that!
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extremiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a Yoko with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea. So please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death. Well,
under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely, yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt. Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree this is very compelling evidence.
You. Yokel student and yokel professor.
I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions. No. Eugene Mikotoba. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know. Our voices are very similar. The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Huh. Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret states research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father. A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students rather than allowing them off on killing sprees.
That's I don't know what she said. Oh, girl.
No, that's totally unfounded. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault.
Right. Mamami-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew? I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just the tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided I'd try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was.
The thief? You don't mean...
Yes, of course. It was that dainty English woman.
Miss Josiah Brett?
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean?
I don't remember her voice, we did. I just remember she was British.
And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back.
Weird.
I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it. In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I'd been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back.
And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes, if the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now. Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say. Oh well, Membami-san, if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed? Oh, well, you have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim, motivated by revenge.
Objection!
But you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, I have evidence, and it is very much conclusive. Then why have you not presented it?
What's the prosecution counsel up to?
It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it. Oh, one moment.
I am so sorry for the 20-minute break. My brother called me, asking me, not now, Bad End Theater. My brother called me, asking me if we were going to play games later. And then he went on a tangent for 20 minutes. And then, right after, like, right as we're, like, finishing up our call, my sister calls me and asks the same thing. So I'm so sorry. I didn't expect to make on that long. But I do want to finish, at least get to the be continued of this game, which I assume is coming up soon, I hope. It's been 2 hours. I assumed usually the to be continueds come up within an hour and a half. I know there's been delays. There's been obviously a 20-minute break. But yeah, you will now produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouchie. And of course, obviously, my controller shut off. That's to be expected.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student.
What?
I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself.
What the? Okay. Oh, hey, this picture's cracked, just like the newspaper one. I noticed that on the newspaper article picture. Oh my god, is it actually the freaking interviewer that's behind Soseki-san? Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. I don't know who's speaking. I'm assuming, yeah.
This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back. No, that's not true, no.
I don't believe it. Order, order, order. Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that chill scream that just pierced my courtroom? Oh, shit.
Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature. I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Careful now. Suzato is starting to show her face here. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence.
I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time, and he's not showed it till now. It's such a stark image, I'm genuinely lost for words. Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph?
Obviously the person that stabbed her.
Right.
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention. Oh.
Objection!
That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Pardon?
You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the footprint is unknown.
Goodness.
Are we to understand then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court?
When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you Yoko student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses.
But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but...
At the moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings.
Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is without the doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear.
Oh no.
Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Rai withdrew the blade from the victim.
Yes, we just need to prove that somehow.
You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Takatsuchi Aochi in a court of law.
If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial's going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
I figured it out. It's the whoever made the newspaper article. Will Council, that's why they knew about the poison too.
Your Excellency, the burning question who took that photograph, and the truth is...
I have the answer.
She did that. I love it. I love the mannerisms.
This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
What? No, you can't possibly. But as you so boldly claim that you can, please, do enlighten us.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
How utterly underwhelming. Did you really believe you could?
However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer?
Take that!
What is that? The newspaper again? Raucous England returnees tell all.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Yes indeed. They had already caught my eye as it happens.
Huh. Oh, what of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree or the like.
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Now, if you look at this photograph...
Oh, good gracious!
Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph, too.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing. Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely, from the branches of a tree.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach, Council.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
A curious matching pattern that appears above photographic prints is a result of...
trees of tree branches. A camera defect, probably. That's what I assume. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched, and that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device. In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera.
But there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article.
It's a journalist.
A newspaper, huh? That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime. Oh, I don't know what that said. Menema? Oh. Menema? I see why you were called a raucous England attorney.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified.
It's a many memo, I tell you. Many memo. Many memo. M, last name. Boom. I bet his first name starts with R.
Susuke-san, what was that?
Did you say many memo? Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Wrighton Many Memo. He is hounding me from dawn till dusk. Now that he mentions it, they secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scoop out my privacy.
Is it that guy? Oh, he does have a camera.
Could that same reporter be? A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, stuck in the middle with Wrighton Many Memo. So you're saying that this picture was taken by Many Memo, yes. My lord, your excellency, Esquire. Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. Oh, yes, your excellency.
As you say, Your Excellency.
And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood?
Meh.
Many memo.
To be continued. Yay!
Again, so sorry for that break we had to do.
But we are now at the end. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me find someone who is live. Anyone playing Great Ace Attorney today? Or maybe Apollo Justice? How about you? Sure, let's rate you. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It has been so much fun. I'll be back again probably tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. Because I am getting a little sick. I don't know if it's noticed how sniffly I gotten. But yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll be back again soon. Sending you off in 5, 4, 3, 2. I was gonna time it with the music, but I'm way too early. 2. 1. Bye!